Hello and welcome to Real Chat. I'm Sophie.
And I'm Mark.
Today we are discussing the latest film by Steven Soderbergh, The Christophers. It's a film about art and originality, exploring the blurred line between inspiration, imitation, and outright forgery. Our review coming up now. The Christophers follows Julian Sklar, an aging and once famous London painter played by Ian McKellen. He's a reclusive eccentric with a fading reputation, but in the attic he has a series of unfinished paintings known as the Christophers, believed to be worth millions should they ever be completed. Because Sklar has no motivation to do this, his adult children secretly hire Laurie Butler, played by Michaela Cole, a struggling young artist and skilled forger, to complete the paintings so they can all cash in after his death. But this art forgery scheme becomes something more complicated as Laurie and Julian develop an unexpected relationship built on mutual recognition, artistic frustration, and a growing understanding of one another. So, what did you think of this film?
I was so excited that a Steven Soderbergh film was out because I think he's a great director. And I thought the premise of this film was wonderful. I really loved the relationship between Laurie and Ian McKellen. He is an absolute star in this movie. If you're an Ian McKellen fan, he's playing Sir Ian McKellen in this pretty much, and you won't be disappointed with him. In terms of how the relationship develops, there were twists and turns that I really appreciated. Yeah. And I've got to say, I couldn't guess the end, how it was going to end. But yes, it starts off, it's engaging. It's an odd couple two-hander movie. And it's all about the performances in this. How did you feel about it?
I definitely agree. I felt like the setup of this film was brilliant. I was very invested in it. And again, I had no idea what direction the film was going to go because there were so many different things that would pop up. So yeah, I was definitely excited to see this film. I'd seen the trailers and yeah, I was pretty hyped to go see it, I'd say.
Okay, so Ian McKellen completely dominates this film, doesn't
Definitely,
he? How did you feel about not just his performance, but his character?
I felt his performance was great. It definitely captured the essence of what it's being like in the presence of an elderly man. The way he just talks and he asks questions but doesn't let you answer and just goes with everything is just, I felt that he really embodied that character. So I think he did great with that. I also thought his character was definitely quite interesting, especially the more we learned about him and also his relationships with his family and his other relationships in life, and his attitude to art and other artists was also an interesting aspect of him that we got to see in this film.
The majority of this film is Ian McKellen's character, Sklar, doing all the talking, basically. Yeah. I'd say probably about 75% of the dialogue is Ian McKellen. And Michaela Cole, she is brilliant, she does a lot of the acting with the eyes. Yeah,
definitely.
And
I think it was
got these
great.
wonderful expressions on her face. She has to kind of put up with this constant rambling monologue from him. And I love the way the relationship developed. I love the talks about art and authenticity, and there were some interesting questions put out there about art. As the film went on, I don't know if you felt this, but I started to lose interest in what was going on between these characters. The first part of the movie, I thought, did a really good job of setting up this kind of mystery, but I don't think it quite paid off. I didn't feel fully satisfied. How about you?
Yeah, I felt as the film went on, I was beginning to lose interest in a lot of the things, specifically in how Michaela Cole's character would go about with painting his art. I wasn't super annoyed about the fact that there was a lot of mystery and ambiguity about what was going to happen next, but I felt that it became a bit too much, and I felt like I was kind of I don't really care about what the next thing that happens is, because it feels like everything's just constantly changing a lot, and sometimes that's not a bad thing, but I felt that in just this film it was a bit of a weakness of it. Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? I so wanted to love this film before I went into it, and I don't think it's a bad film. And I just know that people who love Sir Ian McKellen are gonna think this performance is wonderful. Do you know he hasn't won a BAFTA or an Oscar yet, and it could well be his turn, and this could be the film, and it's a worthy film for him to win something because his performance is absolutely brilliant. Some of the supporting actors, we had his children.
Yeah.
The James Corden, I can't remember the name of the other actress, though I know she played the character Baby Reindeer.
Yeah.
Oh God! Once James Corden was in, I felt there was a bit of a sitcom, uneven tone.
Yeah, I agree.
To the film.
Yeah, there was specifically with the supporting actors. I felt the film couldn't figure out what the tone was with them, specifically with James Corden. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of him, and I felt like I didn't quite enjoy the characters we were seeing of his children. I felt like I don't think they were written very well, and I felt like we could have had more to them, maybe a bit more depth as well, even though they were just side characters. I felt, again, they were a bit sitcom-y. I wasn't super into that.
They were just out for money, weren't they?
Yeah.
And there was no sort of any depth to the relationship or motivation and so on. In a way, I felt with Michaela Coel's character didn't quite get enough there, because it was all the dialogue was coming from Ian McKellen's character. I felt a lot of the dialogue just rambled on. Yeah. And it brilliantly shows us an old man just spouting off and pontificating. But there was something melancholic and sad and slightly depressing about it. And I just wanted to get out of that house by the end of it. But the filming style is really interesting, because I think there's a lot of sort of handheld camera, and it's very much two people in rooms talking, and very long takes as well. And the performances just felt so natural and really authentic. I just felt that the story behind it and where the narrative was going didn't quite engage me enough and didn't make me care enough by the end of the film. I did like the ending though. I thought it kind of worked out in the right way. But again, I wish I'd cared a little bit more.
The thing that I did like about the film was the stylization of the artist house. I quite liked that. I thought it was done superbly with all the little bits everywhere. It was like really messy, but in kind of like a stylish painter way. And I also did like, where I think he's like doing some kind of cameos, and he has the ring light and the phone, and I like that part of it as well. This one's kind of a mixture of a negative and a positive about the film, which was Michaela Coel's performance as Laurie Butler. Even though she did brilliantly with her acting throughout the film, I just felt that it got to a point where I wanted to see more of her actually showing or verbalizing the way she felt. And that was definitely a part of it. We definitely got to see that as it went on. But I felt like there wasn't enough. Maybe that's just me, me just being picky, but I did kind of wish we saw more of that, in my opinion.
I think there is a kind of emotional detachment there.
Yeah.
The film is intellectual, and I just wanted an undercurrent of emotion. The character that Ian McKellen was playing was, in the end, quite an unpleasant guy, I felt. I mean, there were moments of humour. I'm not going to deny that. You know the old saying, you never want to meet your heroes because you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And I feel that was the case with Julian Sklar. He was obviously a famous painter. And as we got to know him in the film, you just thought, there's not really much I really want to know about this guy, to be honest, which is probably why I didn't care enough by the end of the film. But there we go. So I think it's time for us to do the scores. We're ready for it, Sophie. Okay, are we ready? So these are our scores for the Christophers. There we go. I gave it a 5.5.
I gave it a 6.2.
Oh, slightly higher than me.
Yeah.
So that's not bad, is it? Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, everyone, and getting this far. Please subscribe if you like what we do, and we really hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.